Nipple showing.
What was all that talk about free nipple?
No, it's still free to nipple for sure. But don't
just
gotta
like bringing
don't
out
gotta
the
come out
shorts
the
back.
gate with the nipple showing. You know what I mean? Let it slip out a little bit, something like that. Something like that.
This nigga's hilarious.
But we rolling?
Yeah.
Good to go. All right.
You want to clap?
Okay. Man. So this is the first episode of a little something different. You know what I mean? This is we gonna call it. Let's call it King's Corner. Fuck it. I'm trying to use that name, so here we gonna use it now.
I like the sound of that.
Appreciate that. So, it's your boy King K. Rula, as per usual. But with me today, I got two guests. Cheese.
6 Cheese.
Asante. Introduce yourselves. Tell the people about yourself.
I'm 6 Cheese. Represent EsoXP. From Atlanta, Georgia. Do all type of designing and creation. The company was founded by my boy founder Farid. Big ups to him for bringing me up and making me a part of the team. It's been a journey, but we got a long way to go too.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. And I'm Asante Farid. Founder's a cool word. I came here to get a tan because it's hot. So, I'm an artist, creative, rapper, whatever title you want to give me, man. But I'm just trying to do something positive and create and express.
Mm-hmm. All right. Beautiful. So, let's start from the beginning. Let's go early childhood for the both of y'all, and then how y'all linked up, and then how y'all started getting into business.
I actually grew up in Mount Olive, North Carolina. If any of y'all have ever been in a grocery store, I'm definitely sure you have. But if you're on a pickle aisle, you know that Mount Olive brand.
Okay.
That's literally the town that I'm from. Population ain't too much, but it was a country upbringing. I literally grew up just playing sports, going to the Boys and Girls Club, being straightforward at school, not really too much extracurricular type weird stuff, but you know what I'm saying, just kept it straight and narrow. I moved to Atlanta when I was 12.
Okay.
So I've really been here more than half my life, so you can really say that I'm from here.
How old are you?
28.
28. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I grew up here for real, actually matured
16
here.
years, yeah.
Met a lot of people, had a lot of opportunities, seen a lot of things. Actually met Asante's stepbrother, Rashad, in middle school. We went to Freedom Middle School together. Met him around the same time, and I was actually closer with Rashad. But, as life goes on, people go their separate ways and find interest. And Asante brought me on board with Eso in 2017. It was actually a bigger team of us, but we're the two still here. So it's been a lot since then. I wasn't really considered or ever even thought of myself as a rapper or musician, but like he said earlier, it's a great way to express yourself without penalty and without judgment. So, it's been a journey, long way to go. I'm really early in this, so it's fun though.
Heard. And you?
Yeah, man. I was born in Tallahassee, Florida. My folks went to Florida State, so out came me, and we moved to Atlanta when I was 5. So really from here since then. A little insight of my background. We moved to Atlanta because my pops was actually a big minister in the Nation of Islam. So if you're familiar with Farrakhan, Malcolm X, Ali, yeah, he was up there with Farrakhan and stuff close. So I grew up in kind of a religious household and everything like that. Folks split when I was at 13, and that's actually when I met him. My pops moved up to the east side. We was on the north side initially. I moved over to the east side with him, spending weekends, summers, and whatever. Got cool, playing sports, doing what we do. But I started getting into the music, I'll say, real for real, freshman year, college. So 17, 18, I was getting into it. Went on tour when I was 21.
Who would you go on tour with?
This guy named Phrase. He's associated with Tory, Lanez, and a couple other folks. But the big takeaway from this tour, it was called the Unknown Tour. It was cool, good experience, but the big takeaway is I learned a lot about myself and things that I didn't necessarily like. Things went left on the tour, and I saw myself getting outside of my code. You know what I'm saying? I came from a certain background and expected certain things of myself, but when money's low, when you feel disrespected, you start to, I was young. And so I actually chose to go ghost, man, and just get right with myself and grow and evolve as a person, because that's really what I'm passionate about, is just development.
So what type of things did you learn while you was on that tour? What type of things did you see yourself doing that you felt was out of character? Let me step back.
Saw myself willing to compromise, I think, my morals and do things for fighting over crumbs is how I call it. So I know it's not big picture, right? But if I don't even want to get into specifics, but if I knew somebody was shorting me on some money, or their words wasn't lining up with their actions, and you know, it was a real dramatic kind of events that happened. We chasing dudes across state lines trying to get back, bro. You know what I'm saying? Just like things that I didn't stand for, but I saw that in that environment, it came out of me for a sense of just whatever you want to call it, survival, necessity, whatever. But like I just tapped into a different mode. And knowing the industry I'm trying to get into, I'm like, if that's bringing that out, nah, bro, you got to get right, because that's the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah. That's a leads you down a slippery slope. Right?
Yeah, man, exactly.
Because it's like, as soon as you start breaking your rules and your moral codes, it just starts going downhill. It's like, how far are you willing to go to get something that you feel like is right, or to get your get back, or get your respect, when it's like, if you just stuck to yourself and stuck to what you believed in, you could have been on the correct path that you should be on.
Facts. Exactly. And knowing better is one thing, but doing better, that's the piece where a lot of us fall short, myself included, you know?
Yeah, a lot of that, because, you know, as you grow, I'm only 22 myself, but so I've changed a lot since when I was 19 to now. You know, I've been through a lot of different things, experienced a lot of different things, you know, gained and lost a lot of different people. For me, I've learned to look at my patterns and see, like, what are the things that I keep seeing myself doing? How do I keep finding myself in these type of situations? How do I keep finding myself around these people? And it's really doing a lot of self-reflection now. Myself, I consider myself an introvert, so I stay to myself a lot. I have a lot of time to just reflect and focus on what I got going on. So, you know, I take a lot of time to just be thinking, you know, whether I'm smoking or if I'm just chilling, I'm just like, what am I like? Am I happy with where I am? Like, how did I do this? A lot of times that's what I think helps with that is taking accountability for your shit. Because a lot of times it's very easy to blame somebody else. You know what I mean? It's very easy to blame another person or some other thing or another entity that all this is happening because of them. But you put yourself in this position.
And that's a fantastic point. That's really what the brand is about. That's what I came back and rebuilt this shit. So ESO experience, ESO comes from a derivative, means inner, right? And you said a powerful word when you said self-assess, self-reflect. That self, a lot of us, we can tell you what's wrong with everybody else, but we don't take that moment to say, even how am I feeling? You know what I'm saying? Am I happy? Am I sad? And then the why, and what can I do to change that if I want to change it, or where can you know, that first step is to look from within.
Yeah.
So that's a powerful thing you pointing out, is the ability to go ahead and be like, yo, where am I at and where do I want to go?
Yeah.
That's what I had to do.
It's about balance too, though. Balance, like knowing when to know that you're not just being hard on yourself, you're just being accountable, and when to say, hey, no, this ain't my fault. This is something else's controlling, but also to, like you said, self-reflect and then be confident in yourself. Like, it's just about going through those waves. You say you lost people, gained people, right? That's gonna always happen.
Yeah. And that kind of leads to a good question. So it's like, how do y'all find balance? Y'all been doing this for a little bit. I'm sure y'all have had moments where it's like, you know, loved ones have felt like you haven't taken enough time to spend time with them, or, you know, anything. Like, you just kind of just been, there's been times where it's unbalanced. So how do y'all find balance in y'all's careers, and like for y'all personal lives, and then for yourself, and then for your business?
This might be a little too simple, but it's just about being in the moment. A lot of times I'll be doing something and be obviously thinking about something else, whether that be something from the past or the future. But when you're doing something, like, just do it. Really enjoy it for everything that it is. And outside of that, just knowing when to pick things from the music that are really good, and when to assess whether the bad things are really outweighing the good things. You know what I mean? So with family, my family, whether I'm in the studio too much or I'm in the studio too little, they just kind of just let me be, right? So to what we've been talking about, it's just about me self-assessing and knowing what that balance is, just based off how their behavior is with me, or based off how I see it affecting myself. So it's a lot of little things, and it's subjective, really, but just take away the good things and look at the bad things, and literally do a balancing act, pro and cons. You got to write a chart or something. Like,
That's facts. I mean, my answer is a little different. I guess you said it about subjective. It's really where you're at, right, and how you prioritize. And I could be because I'm a Libra, but I'm constantly like, yo, where's that balance at? Where's that, you know what I mean? Like, I need to go ahead and keep that scale even because I can't function really if it's out of whack. So I get very, like, strategic about that. I'm like, I need the value to be clear, whether it's doing something like having this conversation here versus I'm the oldest of 7 and spending time with my siblings versus this versus that versus this, you know, and the list goes on. But I'm really, like, saying, okay, well, this much time is going to result in this and it's worth this. So I do a lot of, like, input, output, return on investment for real. And that's how I'm doing a lot of my balancing. Because you got to, but square one to what you said, you got to prioritize it. You got to say, what's most important to me? That should get the most time.
Yeah.
And go from there.
Facts. So let's talk about school. Like, did y'all finish school? Did y'all go to college and then finish?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of. Well, I finished, but I dropped out twice, bro. So
Okay.
anybody who's having a tough time, I feel you.
So, like, what was the thought process both of those times you was dropping out, and then what made you want to go back to finish it out?
First time, so I went to Georgia Southern in my first semester. I was trying to be a sports agent. I'm just trying to find myself in this world, doing music, but not like doing music. And I went out there and was just like, this is cool, but it wasn't bringing nothing I felt like mattered. It may be a flaw, but if I feel like something's unimportant, then I can't get vested in it. I really just detach.
I feel you.
And that was that one semester. Literally, I was there. Hey, Ma, I'm coming home. Can't do it.
What was that convo like? Because I know what mine was like, and it was not pleasant. It was not a fun time at all.
My mom is cool in the sense that she trusts, like, me to be whatever I'm gonna pursue. She trusts. She know I'm gonna give my all at it and really give my best foot forward. So as long as I can give her like a plan and approach, she'll support it. Yeah. And so it I come from a kind of an academic family for sure. So it was one of them things where I took that semester off. All these aunties and pops, cousins, whoever is in my ear, like, you know, they can't take that degree away from you, though. Like,
that's their favorite line. That's their favorite line.
You heard it probably, you know? And so that wore on me. I'm like, well, I'm still doing the music, but this working shit kind of is hard. Let me see if I can balance something out, make some connections. I'm going to go to Georgia State. Boom. So that's where I went for there a couple years. Everything was cool. Met some cool people. Did some cool things. That's around the time where I started picking up to go on a tour and things like I was telling you about. Now I got the momentum. I'm out of here. This is cool. Right. Who cares? Whatever. It's moving. Like, let me give it all. Man, fast forward to the end. I dropped out again when I only had like 10 hours of classes left. So I was like right at the finish line. But I didn't care. I didn't care. Yeah. So to me, that 10 hours is more valuable hustling for what I'm going for versus being in class just chasing some degree. I don't even have my degree to just like physically have it. I earned it, but it got shipped to like an old address and I don't care.
So
whatever.
you ain't have it no more. Right. Yeah. Okay.
So it's on paperwork, sure, but that shows my lack of interest. But I ended up getting bribed, man. My grands came in and was like, yo, you know, we'll give you this, just finish it out. So it's like I said, it's crazy, but I did get the degree at the end of it all.
So how do you feel about that degree? You know what I mean? You sitting with it. Do you use it at all?
Don't get me started. Get your degree, kids, man. Stay in school.
Yeah, I feel like
I'm gonna be real. Here's what I'll say. Really ask yourself what you want and what you're trying to do. And I don't want to just be that dude that try to just shit on school. Like, it's super valuable. But one thing I don't think we're taught is what you're going to school for. You just kind of, I got a degree in speech and communications because, like, I figured one day maybe I'd be doing this. Right. But, like, try to have some guidance about what you can see yourself really being fulfilled in, and then how school and these resources can help you, no matter what that path may be.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel the same way because I am a dropout. And
there we go.
And honestly, you know, from the jump, I knew I didn't want to go to college, but, you know, my mom's was like, yo, go to college, da, da, da. And, you know, so I found out about SCAD, Savannah College of Art and Design, I was into animation. That was my major. I was a 3D animator. I was self-taught in high school. So I was like, you know what? If I'm gonna go to college, might as well go for some shit that's fun. Yeah. So I went, and it just opened my door. You know, as soon as you leave high school, your small hometown, and then you go to the city, because I was from North Georgia, or North Gwinnett, North Fulton, whatever. Anyway, what was it called? So then I came to the city of Atlanta. I'm meeting all these different people. It's a whole different experience. I started getting introduced to, different music acts. I'm like, I want to be a part of this. I want to do this. So my first year, it was kind of just I was learning a lot. I was going to the classes. I felt like I wasn't really learning anything per se. I definitely learned a lot. You know, I learned about color theory, doing different like painting, drawing, and stuff like that. Those are skills that I use in my art to this day. But, you know, by the time the first year was finished, I was like, I don't really want to do this school shit no more. You know, like I was like, I don't really want to do it. Knew I didn't want to do it, but I still finished it out. Finished the first year out, and then going into the second one, I was like, I don't want to do it. And then I finally got to my major courses, and I was like, I already know this. I've been know this. Like, you're teaching me something that I already knew. So I felt like, just like you said, if I feel like it's useless or it's pointless, I'm not gonna care. I'm not gonna care at all. So I was like, I'm done. Like, I'm so ready to go out. Like, so I talked to the counselor. I was so focused on other things. I was slick failing out of my classes anyway, and I was like, I'm ready to go. So, you know, I talked to my counselor, and then I called my mom up, and there was like, and she was going off, but it was crazy. It was crazy. But like you said, you know, I had like an intervention with my siblings and shit like
man.
that. You gonna have so many phone calls. Oh, it's crazy.
Big ups to y'all for getting through that, cause like how strong you gotta be to like do some shit that you don't want to do.
But see what it was and what made me fully commit, because of course I tried to have that I want to drop out conversation, and I lost. I was like, all right, I'm going back. I'm gonna finish or whatever. But what made me really do it was, I was like, I don't want to live life for someone else. I want to live life for me. You know what I'm saying? If I'm not,
I hope y'all heard that.
I'm telling you, like, cause if you're not happy with what you're doing, if you're not working towards something that you feel like is beneficial to you or what you want to do, then it's never gonna feel fulfilling. It's never gonna feel good. You're always gonna hate everything that was going on. And I hated being there. I was like, I don't like this shit. So I was like, let me do something that I believe in. And that's what I did. And honestly, I'm happy to this day. I'm doing what I'm doing. We see in progress. You know, No B.A.N's doing great. Shout out y'all. Shout out to the viewers showing up. Shout out to you guys for seeing, you know, the potential in us, for wanting to come onto the platform. But yeah, like, you know, as much as I hate college, there's a purpose for it. There's a purpose for it. Not everybody is going to be in the arts. Not everybody's doing something where a degree doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? So if you feel like higher education is something that's going to help you into your life or your career, go do that shit, bro. Like, don't let a dropout tell you that shit's whack, because
sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes
it's necessary.
I'm gonna start back a little earlier, because my transition was, it was a journey. Because like I said, growing up in a country town, like, you ain't got much to focus on, right? I just went to school. I played football. I played basketball recreationally. But what I had was school.
Yeah.
I really loved school as a youngster. I went to one elementary school, and then I went to middle school back in my hometown, right? But then we moved, and I ended up going to, if you count that one, that's 4 middle schools.
Damn.
I went to that school there, Sutton, Freedom, and then coincidentally an alternative school, but for some bullshit, we ain't gonna get into that. But I went to 4 middle schools, 2 high schools, and 2 colleges. So school for me has always been the common denominator, so I could always go back to it. But at a certain point, I think it was when I took AP Calculus in high school, I was like, math used to be my favorite subject, but now this shit is pissing me off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't even want to deal with it. This is not something I want to do. But I was playing basketball too. So college was a way for me. I'm like a first generation. My mom didn't graduate college until after me. She has her bachelor's now, but she didn't graduate until after me. So for her, it was like, yeah, go do that, of course. Even though she wasn't knowledgeable in that, she knew the people to let me be trusting of, right? And she always growing up, she always made me be very decisive and accurate about who I'm spending my time with, where I went.
That's important.
She was super detailed, always asking questions: where you going, who you with, what time you coming back. So I was always asking myself asking myself those same type of questions at each school I went to, and nothing really made me fall in love. That's why I think it was so easy for me to transition from school to school, hoop or whatever. Obviously, I didn't get the most out of basketball, but what I did learn was, like he said, a lot about myself. You know what I mean? Like, I knew that authority was something that I had to be accustomed to and also be accepting of. But because I was jumping from, I guess, so many different authoritative figures, I was like, bro, I'm going to be on to somebody else. And, you know what I'm saying? In a little bit. So I ain't even really listening to what you're saying. But I was also clouded through college and school. Right. Just because I was playing basketball, I had passions and things that I liked, but it wasn't like, oh my God, I want to do this when I get out of school. I went to Druid Hills High School, Clarkston High School, that's on the east side. And my first college was Franklin and Marshall College. That's in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Amish country.
Jeez.
Amish country,
You're
literally.
hooping.
Like getting in with the Amish phone.
Yeah.
Private PWI, 2,400 kids. I had just got to Atlanta 6 years ago. Now I'm in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, so I'm totally different. It's similar to my hometown and a little bit similar to Atlanta in the social life, right? People are out and extroverted and things like that. But it was an experience nonetheless. Like that was, I can't even put it into like one word or one sentence, but it was a lot. It was a lot for me to experience in just 2 years because I transferred from there and went to St. Lawrence University. My boy from Druid Hills, shout out Matt Dog, he was at a JUCO while I was at Franklin and Marshall, but he transferred to St. Lawrence too. And he was like, yo, if you're not happy with the situation there, come over to St. Lawrence. We can, you know what I'm saying, we could do something over here. So I did that. The experience was a little bit better, but again, in retrospect, I think I was really clouded in that moment because I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was just doing stuff because it was in my resource pool, right? I'm just doing it because it's there, and that's what I've always done, but I didn't really make, that's where the self-assessment comes in. I didn't really make the decisive decisions to say, hey, I'm doing this for that reason and doing it not for that reason. I majored in economics at first, economics and psychology at first, but I decided to just end up majoring in psychology because I knew I would need more school to like get a career in that, but even if I didn't, then I would learn about people or even myself. You know what I'm saying? That's like a...
That's crazy how that comes full circle.
Yeah. It's kind of
Your
like
example of like not even knowing why you was there is exactly what we was talking about with like the lack of... I didn't know what I was going to school for at first for real, you know? Just...
And I feel like most kids don't. Most kids don't know why they're going to school.
When does that happen?
Going to
Doing
school.
it, right.
You're taught to get the grades and get the entrance to go in, but then...
Once they go, they start fucking off. They start drinking. They start doing all this other stuff because they don't really have no real plan. And that's why I think college is a scam. But you know they
really sell it to you, though.
It is. Education
they
Inc.
sell
it. Yo, they sell that motherfucker like...
Education Inc., man.
I'm telling you. But all right. So let's talk about the brand. Let's talk about EsoXP. So like y'all, you came in late, and it was, or relatively, you came in at the right time. But yeah. So it was originally a bigger group, and then now it's just y'all. So once it was just y'all, what was like the steps? Like, okay, this is the new direction we're going with it, or is it you keep going? It's just us now.
Just to clarify, I've been here since the start with Eso.
Okay.
He's just been doing music longer.
Hey, tell it.
You know what I'm saying? I got to pop my shit one time. So, you know what I'm saying? I got it tatted. That's me.
Facts. Okay.
But before he, you know what I'm saying, gets into that, again, he's been doing music longer than me. I've learned so much musically and in life from him. But I've been with Eso since 2017. And again, we had a bigger team. I think I just mentioned that earlier. A bigger team. And it kind of died off pretty quick. I ain't going to say so. Pretty much the whole time it's been just me and him. And for me, I know it's a different perspective because I was new into music. Like I did my first verse probably that same year, like ever. You know what I'm saying? That officially came out.
So was Eso a like collective music group brand as well, or was it?
Is my mic still on audio, man? Because I hit the off button on accident. We still coming through?
It's still going through. But
Okay.
whenever you hit it off, that it probably would be like a dead spot.
That's cool. Yeah, I just wanted to make just a quick second.
Yeah.
Man, I learned a valuable lesson from building this thing. Because I guess I had seen all the cool stories, man, all the rappers and whatever I looked up to, just like coming up with your friends and building this thing, and you know everybody's on the same page, and we came from here, now look where we at. I wanted to be another one of them stories.
Right.
So it's reaching out to people who I grew up with, people who I really loved and cared for, and that's cool on the surface, but I didn't take the time to assess the situation and see. I'm pulling people in who really weren't. They were passionate about me and wanted to see me win. But they, outside of me, wouldn't have been doing.
They wasn't looking at the
what I
bigger
was
picture.
Doing. Exactly. And so, with that, when trials and tribulations of their own lives come up, you know, that's when you have to take care of yourself and what matters to you, and what matters to them wasn't music or anything in the industry and building a brand. It was, you know, whatever their passions may have been. So that's something that was super valuable that I learned from that moment. And to your question, I think of specifically like where we're headed now with it. There's some cool things that I learned from that happening.
This man laughing. What's happening?
One, I really learned how capable we are to do it ourselves. Like I mix all of our music. You know, I engineer all of that, mix and master, and like that was out of necessity. I didn't just want to be an engineer.
Right.
I had to because I wanted to make sure my sound was a certain way. But that has resulted in, you know, my response growing in terms of my feedback from my listeners and so on and so forth. When it comes to videos and him getting on Adobe and learning how to do stuff, so we always are, I guess, open to bringing on the right people, but it's got to be people who, like, we work with people who are, I guess, close affiliates, but to really put that coin on you, I got to know that you would be doing it with or without me in my involvement. What I can't do at this stage is motivate you to stay on your path, your purpose. You know what I mean? It's got to be we both inspiring each other.
Yeah.
That's one of the codes just to be a part of even my circle. You got to inspire me.
Yeah.
Still sharp as steel.
Still sharp and still, literally, yeah, inked on me for that same reason. You know what I mean? Like, so that's where we at right now, man. You know.
What's crazy, to his point, my bad.
Yeah,
I was one of those people too that was like, oh, I didn't see myself, like I said earlier, I didn't see myself being a rapper or anybody that's into music. But what I think bro really inspired in me, like he said, like, was to just express and if I'm gonna be in this business with you, I gotta learn a little bit about it. So my interest naturally, you know what I'm saying, went up, and now it's kind of through the roof. Like, I find like that to be the most easy thing to do besides hooping, right? Obviously that's just something that's cool too. Like, but when I'm sitting down writing or just listening to beats, making music in the studio, like, it's just like so calming, and like I don't really think about nothing else. I don't want to check my phone, things like that.
Comes naturally.
And that's crazy, like, because somebody inspired that, right? I didn't know that naturally.
Right,
you know what I'm
right,
saying?
right.
So, but for it to get that deep, that's crazy to me. And that goes, again, on brand, like helping me reveal or assess my inner experience, right? Like, music, what is music doing to me? I didn't come up in a household that was just blasting music all the time, right? So what is music to me? I learned it when I was actually doing it, and that really helped and really turned a
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a similar experience, you know, with learning that I was into music. And I don't make music, but like I said, once I got to college and I, you know, got introduced to these different sounds, different people, and I met an artist, and I was like, I really want to be involved in the music industry somehow. Yeah. You know, like my older sister, shout out Rachel Jackson, big sis. Anyway, but she was always in the music scene. She, you know, she was working with Ludacris for a while. She was on Fresh Empire. She was big different. Now she works at YouTube, but always in the music scene. But I never really was interested. I was kind of just like, okay, cool. But once I was working with these artists, I was like, I want to get involved somehow, you know, and that's how No B.A.N came about. But then, to your point of being with the group, and then, you know, people's own priorities come into line, and, you know, if they're not focused on what the bigger picture is, then it's easy for people to fall off, which is okay. You know, it's okay if you're not, if our goals don't align, I'm not going, and I had to learn this. But I'm not going to trip off on you because you just don't have the same vision as me. That's all right. That's perfectly fine. You know what I mean? It's you can't force nobody to be on the train. You know what I'm saying? I tell these niggas,
exactly.
We've had multiple conversations. It's like, look, this is what the goal is, this is what the prize is, but if you not gonna do your part and be a part of it, then look, my nigga, it's like you can fall off this train. It's all good, and it's not no beef. It ain't no hatred. It's just like
it's actually helping them.
Exactly. You
can spend more time on what you want to do.
Exactly. And I try to be super free. You know, if there are things that are taking you away from, you know, helping out the brand, you can go do your things. You know, a lot of our members are in school. So it's like they gotta focus on school. Hey, do your thing, my boy. Like if you can come in and help out. But if you gotta focus on graduating, do that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like you can't force nobody, and forcing people to be along for the ride and forcing people to do things, just like when it comes to school or doing any type of thing. You know, you're not gonna get the best results when you're forcing somebody to be along. So it's definitely important that everyone who is on the boat, who is on the train, has the same picture or has the same goal. And if their goals change, hey, my brother, glad you was here for while you was here. Do your thing. Yeah. And that's perfectly fine. That is perfectly
Or at least
fine.
the same morals, because, I mean, goals can change easier than
Facts,
morals.
yeah.
So, like, if we on the same page, like, energy-wise, like, you know what I'm saying, and we want the same things out of life, then we can figure that out.
So So aside from losing people, what's some challenges that y'all have found, whether it be in the music industry or is also just like running a brand? Just what are challenges y'all have run into being entrepreneurs, black entrepreneurs? On top of that,
Yeah, that's a good question.
are you black? I'm playing.
That's one of them. No, I'm just playing. I think for me the biggest one that stands out is you got to really learn the industry, and it's you hear it all the time, but actually until you get in it and hear what these folks is talking about, like the big phrase is it's the music business. Those are two separate words, So you can kill shit all day in the studio. That's not the concern, the product, but it's the business side, and having to put on that separate hat. That's something that is a challenge for me of just being, okay, this is the creative, this is the Asante Farid, you in the studio doing what you do. But when you walk into these other situations, opportunities, it's time for Asante to come out in a different way. You know what I mean? Pay attention to different details.
Yeah.
And that's the big thing where we ain't had no tutorial. I ain't had no mentorship, man. For real, like I ain't had no big bro. I'm big bro. Right. And I would have welcomed it, but it's just not how things connected in the line, man. So that's one where like I'm buying all kind of industry books, trying to think like if I'm managing myself, you have to really put on a different hat. That's probably the biggest one for me.
And how important is reading to you?
Same as any form of development. The cool thing about the time we're growing up in, I believe I'm a YouTube Academy star student.
Graduate, man. Still
Shouts out on my YouTube Academy
alumni
folks.
coming back for the masters and the doctorate.
Yeah, your sister probably seen me pop up a couple times. So you could, I definitely try to read just because I feel like that is one important way of learning, and it's a little different. But learn how you learn, develop how you develop. I don't really care whatever works best for you. That's what's paramount there.
Hard facts.
I struggle with reading.
Me too.
Not that I can't read, but like I never really want to read. Like I get like
it puts me to sleep.
Yeah,
I get so tired
I mean,
so
if it's
fast.
not interesting, like I just really quickly just turn off all the way. But to the other question about what's been the hardest challenge, I think it's realizing not who people are, but like how they see themselves in your life. I was once naive. I feel like I grew up kind of naive. That's obviously shifted now, but knowing that people, like he said earlier, kind of just love you just because they know you or they're a part of their family, versus a person that wants to be in your life and like shows almost aggressive effort to like be there or to support something that you're doing. I thought that everybody was gonna be like that. As soon as I dropped my first song, I'm like, all y'all motherfuckers better, you know what I'm saying, send this to the moon. And then I was like, got one share maybe, and I was like, damn, okay. Yeah, this is how it's gonna work. Again,
sober reality check.
Yeah. Again, that's the part of the world we live in. It's so fast paced, and like maybe they just missed it. If you was just in a room with them, they probably cared. But like, it's just realizing that people aren't who you thought they were. I mean, that could be super intense, or it could just be something slight, like what I just explained. But yeah, I think that was the biggest challenge.
One thing I really want to say while it's on my mind too, because you said black entrepreneurs, I want to give y'all big flowers, man, big props,
100%.
because
Appreciate that.
For sure.
black media, like this is something, a space I would love to eventually even get in and just have my hands in where I can. We need black people behind the cameras too, because y'all know how we can get portrayed and represented incorrectly. So having folks who control the narrative with our best interest in mind, we need that. So keep doing that, man.
Appreciate that.
Love that.
Man. Yeah, like it's crazy because, like I said, I went to college for animation. I was not planning on doing none of this shit, but like it kind of just fell into my lap, and I was like, I want to create a platform where people who I believe are deserving of having their voice be heard. You know what I mean? I want to share people's messages. There's a lot of talented artists out here who don't get that shine, so let's shine that light. There's a lot of talented brands, people in general who deserve to be heard, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like there was a hole, like if it wasn't, No Jumper, if it wasn't, Complex, if it wasn't, like in Atlanta, there's not a real big,
which
Revolt.
is crazy, because it's Atlanta. That's a good point.
It's the media capital. It's the movie capital. It's like Hollywood. Atlanta is the black Hollywood, you know what I'm saying? But we don't have no real media outlet that's tapped in with the
everybody
with
who's
the
on
culture.
the media comes from here.
Exactly.
But we don't have the media itself.
It's crazy.
What would you consider Breakfast Club? Is that like a media, not Breakfast
not
Club,
Atlanta.
but with What am I thinking about?
Are you talking about Big Facts?
Big Facts. I
Big
couldn't
Facts.
Think of that. Yeah.
Yeah, they're based in Atlanta, but they're focused on the high
Right.
what's the word?
Yeah.
The mainstream. You know what I'm saying? So and they're part of Revolt. I'm sure they were doing their thing before Revolt got a hold of them, but they're doing the thing. Black media it's important, but again, that's people who are already on. You know
Exactly.
what I'm saying?
I feel like they don't control who they put
They
up
don't.
there.
They don't. I mean, maybe they do. I don't know.
Maybe they got some input. But
Right.
Yeah.
But like they don't they don't tap into the people who are coming up. They don't tap into the unheard voices. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's my drive is just to give people who I believe have the talent a place to speak. But
Again, appreciate you.
of course, appreciate y'all for coming in. Like, yeah, let me ask that. So, like, what made y'all wanna fuck
Oh,
with
it's
No B.A.N?
crazy. My boy Knockley.
Oh,
I think
that's
you've done a video with
Okay.
him. I went to high school with him. We didn't really
Shout out
mingle,
Knockley, man.
mingle
Shout out
and
Knockley. We
facts.
just finished the EP. Matter
I
of
was gonna
fact.
say that's
Word.
the crazy timing.
Locking
Like,
in.
we've been in the studio locked in with him.
Genuine guy, real
Got some shit.
genuine guy.
Yeah,
For
for real,
Mm-hmm.
for real. Never nothing bad to say about bro. Yeah, I met him in high school, but we didn't really mingle in high school. But we met through a mutual friend after.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always been casual, just you know what I'm saying, what's up, bro? And then all of a sudden, he popped up doing music.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he was always into it, but like I was like, yeah, we gotta lock in on this, bro, for sure. And then I seen the video that you did for him, and I was like, I love how this looks. And I went to your page and I saw No B.A.N. I was like, I love how this looks. So you know what I'm saying? Let me reach out and
He
see what I
swung me
can
the
do.
word.
You know
That's
what
all
I
it takes for
mean?
me. So yeah, man.
That's
And
fine.
that's what I be doing, like finding things like, again, like to the bigger picture of life. I just find things on whatever social media that I like, and if it's people that I think I can actually connect with immediately, I'm gonna try to do that. It's a cold reach out. Like I didn't know, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I didn't say, hey, Knock sent me. Like I just was like, yo,
Yeah.
what's good? You know what I'm saying? Let's do
I
something.
hate you. I was like, hold on, big fella. And like, explain yourself. Like, who are you? like we ain't just gonna interview no random nigga now. But nah, that's dope. Shout out to Knockley, bro. Shout out to that. But so we on the topic. So, what would you guys consider a bitch ass nigga? You know what I mean, no, there's bitch ass niggas come in many different
lot,
forms.
yeah.
But like, what would
A
you?
lot.
What's like something that you think of immediately when you think of a bitch ass nigga?
Somebody who don't stand for nothing. Plain and simple, man. It's the biggest phrase, stand for nothing. If you don't stand for nothing, you fall for anything. You bitch ass niggas don't stand for shit.
That's facts. That's facts.
I think it's. I'm gonna be just blunt, like just running from confrontation. Whether that is you got to confront your own mistakes, or that's literally confronting a 6'5", 260-pound nigga in front of you. Like you might not have to
Spooky.
fight him. You got to do something though. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
You gotta stand. Like you said, you got to stand for something. You got to do something. Like, and if you're just not willing to do that, and you're willing to run and just say, hey, oh, that's just something that happened, then you a bitch ass nigga.
That's
For sure.
That's a fact. That's a fact. So, what do y'all stand on? Like, what's something that if somebody like tried this or like disrespected this, like it goes against your code, like something that you gotta.
I don't beef with nobody black, bro. We need to make sure we on the same page in that regard. Everything in this place that we being raised in is designed in one way or the next to prevent you from succeeding. We don't need to be contributing to that.
Yeah.
So I do what I can. Like I love Wale's phrase, man. I'm rooting for everybody black. That's something I stand on. You know, feel how you want about it. Say what you want. We can get into the details. I don't beef with nobody black.
I love that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I think reciprocity is big for me. And if I'm showing
Explain
you
that
like
for the people who don't know.
reciprocity that comes from
It's a college word, ain't it?
the word reciprocal, but it's basically karma. It's basically karma. Give what you get. I stand big on that. If I'm showing you a lot of effort and I'm doing a lot for you and you're not doing anything, I mean, I get if you can't do something and you explain that to me, then I might continue to do what I do. But if it's just obvious that you're abusing whatever's going on, then I don't fuck with that. I'm quick to dip out the situation. And also, if I'm not giving you what you're giving me, I really sometimes sit back and just be like, yo, like, you're doing a little too much. I'm not even really
On that. Like,
giving you everything that you deserve. So let me, you know what I'm saying, use that energy on somebody else.
no,
Yeah,
that's big.
reciprocity.
Reciprocity is definitely a big thing. You know, what in any type of relationship, to be honest.
Yeah.
Is making sure that you're giving a balance, and I mean maybe if you're giving a little bit more, that's okay. But like making sure that you're receiving as much as you're getting, or it's just a fair input and output. Because a lot of times there's a lot of bloodsuckers out here, man. There's a lot of bloodsuckers out here. There's a lot of people who gonna take everything you can give from them and not even offer to give anything in return.
That's a big lesson I learned too. I think Beyonce talked about it in one of her documentaries. Like, what she said, I'm not nice, I'm fair. Like, I had to really learn the difference between the two. And I'm fair as fuck. But that nice shit don't do nothing.
Yeah, it don't get you nowhere.
And the worst ones are the ones that go there first. You know what I mean? Like, if you just pop off, that's what you want from somebody. Like, you got something going on.
Yeah. Like, being respectful is important. You know, being, like you said, fair is important. But as soon as you just start allowing people to just take, and you just not considering, damn, what the fuck am I getting out of this? What have they done for me lately, for real? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, man, you just gonna get walked all over. And and that's one of the things that I hate seeing in people. That's like, a lot of times, I wouldn't say like that makes somebody a bitch ass nigga, but when I just see someone just get run over and like they're just so mad, I'm just like, get up. Get up. Like, we can't allow that. So yeah, that's important.
I need to know, man, who came up with the name and how did y'all settle on?
I
missed that story. I need to hear this.
So this is good because I don't think the viewers know at all. So no bitch ass niggas literally came from my mom. That was what she told me. She said, I'm not going to raise no bitch ass nigga. So, and you know, this is a very common story, you know, single mother raising 2-3 kids, depending on the situation. My dad was in my life, but he just wasn't living with me. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that was just the motto that I lived by. And it just kept popping back up. It's literally just something that I live by. I'm just like, you know, I ain't gonna be a bitch ass nigga. Like, I'm a problem solver. I'm gonna solve that problem, whatever it is. I'm gonna figure it out because I'm not just gonna sit here and be like, oh, I can't do anything. It's like we gonna figure that shit out. We gonna make it work. If I have a dream, if I have a goal to do this, I'm gonna achieve that. No bitch ass niggas. I'm not a bitch ass nigga. So yeah. So we was, like I said, I was in college. I was forming a group. It was originally 3 people. Shout out Dev. Day 1 member of No B.A.N. She moved over to New York, but she's still kicking it. What's it called? Yeah, so we formed the group. There's No B.A.N. Ended up having a falling out with the main artist who was in the group, and then, you know, I tapped back in with my boy Rokai, Smiles, and then my brother Zero Speaks, aka Justin, and we just was like, I was like, I want to take this bigger. You know, this was 2020. It was, you know, right when George Floyd passed, you know, the protests were going on. I was feeling I felt so betrayed because of the shit that happened with old boy. And I was just like, I had just freshly dropped out. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I want to do something. Again, purpose. There was a bigger picture. Exactly. Purpose. I found my purpose and you know, No B.A.N. World. The world got tagged on, honestly, literally, because .com, NoBAN.com was taken, and I was in, and
that's the business side of that.
Right?
You see that?
So the .world was there, and I was like, No B.A.N. World. That's kind of hard. I was like, kind of hard. It rolls off the tongue, and also the URL looks nice. It's NoBAN.world. That's all you got to type in. It's that easy. So I was like, yeah, let's put that in, and you know, no bitch ass nigga world. Like the world around me, I only surround myself with real ass niggas. You know what I mean? So that's where that came from. That is where that came from.
I love that. That's a good story.
Yeah, I think so too.
Naturally. You know what I'm saying?
So, you know, with everything going on, how do y'all stay authentic to yourselves? Like, you know, because you said you went through a period where you felt like you was losing yourself. Mm-hmm. So how do you remain? Like, how do you get yourself back on track?
It comes full circle. You got to ask yourself where you at. You got to be real with yourself. You can't expect nobody else to be real with you if you won't be real with yourself.
Facts.
So it may sound crazy, but I'll literally be looking in the mirror. Where you at? How are you feeling? How did you get here? What could you have done better? Have the whole conversation.
Yeah, you got to walk through
If you won't do it, why would I feel a way if my boy wouldn't do it? Mm-hmm. You got to start there. So that's how I started keeping myself on track. And the more you do it, it's like a muscle. It's easier to get in that shape, in that place, and in the moment. You already know how you're supposed to move and maneuver, but like it starts with you.
And honestly, I'll tell, because a lot of people, it's hard for a lot of people to do that. It's because it's scary. It's putting all that accountability on yourself is scary. Yeah. It's allowing yourself to be like, damn, that was my fault.
Yeah, like, I will say it is absolutely scary, but to me, on the flip side, it's also so empowering.
So empowering.
Try it out, and it removes all the things you feel like are out of your control, and you're a victim of circumstance, and the universe is against you, and whatever's happening, like life is gonna always happen, but it's how you respond, right? That's that moment where you get to respond. It's by taking it on your own shoulders and balance wise, like you said, you ain't gotta just blame yourself for everything going wrong horribly, but like be accountable on what you could control. All you can do is all you can do. I tell myself that about once a week. All you can do is all you can do. Leave it at that.
Yeah, honestly, I tweeted this. I was like, life is nothing but a bunch of actions and reactions. You know what I'm saying?
That's
like,
a fact.
One thing happens, and it's how you respond to that. And the next thing goes, and it just goes and goes and goes. But
Literally.
how do you stay authentic? How do you keep yourself in line?
What's crazy about what he said, that's like a scientific thing. He might have just been doing it just to, I don't know what made you do that. Did you research something, or you just like?
I don't know what I picked up. YouTube Academy probably. Who knows, bro? I don't know.
That's down to like the chemicals in us, right? Like there's something I was reading an interview, and like this lady really built her career off of the fact that one day she woke up, she was like, I'm gonna look in the mirror and I'm gonna actually high five myself. Like that's a weird act to do, but something chemically happens like with a high five. Like if I were to high five you now, let's go ahead and do it. Like that. It feels good, like just to do that, but like literally chemically, like that does something to our anatomy. And like he said, it might seem dumb, but like if you just try it. I mean, things can happen. The way I stay authentic, I'm an overthinker, man. Like so, I think about all the good times in my life, not just you know what I'm saying on the exterior, but like times that I may have like made a right decision. Like one day in school, I don't know if I ever referenced this story before, but like in elementary school. I don't know what grade I was in, but like I found like maybe $40, $60 on the floor. Like I immediately picked it up. I think I took it to a teacher or something, and I was like, yo, somebody dropped their money. Or maybe I asked one of the students. I don't know what happened.
You the nigga on Twitter who I be wondering.
I'm telling you.
Who's turning in all this money?
Would have grabbed that shit. But that's lunch money for the rest of the week. Like, what are we talking about?
You know what I said earlier? I grew up naive, man. You don't come across some type of opportunities.
That's pure,
like, you know what I mean? Like, if I find $60 now, I don't give a fuck if I just seen you drop it. Like, maybe I might give it to you, but like, I might just keep that motherfucker. But like, to that point, I found that. Took it home. I was like, Mom, I found $60 today. She's like, where is it? I was like, I told the teacher and I gave it back. Like, she was like, nigga, you be missing out on your blessings. Yeah. I was like, yo,
right.
Like, but that was a good moral moment for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could have kept that $60. Who knows how I would have went and did with it. Bought some ice cream, Doritos, and shit like that.
Right. Touch it.
But like, maybe it did get back to that person. Maybe they really did need it for something. So
I think they pocketed that. They were like,
probably,
oh, thank you.
Probably.
Right into my pocket. Like.
Knowing the percentages, right? Knowing the percentages, they probably just pocketed. But like, I think back to.
All right, so as we draw near towards the end of the interview, so let's take a look back into the music. So like, how did y'all get started into music, and then like, what was the passion that kept y'all going?
I think I referenced that, you know what I'm saying, a couple times, but.
Yeah, I've loved music ever since I can remember, for real. My mom was, would be singing all the time, music blasting. And my first memory, I had to be like 5 years old. And I heard a record playing, man, and there was a baby in the beat. Y'all gonna know the track. Dun, 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 dun. And my 5-year-old ass is like, well, how the fuck is a baby in the music right now? So I remember like being confused. I'm like, and it sounds good. So that's shouts out Timbaland, man, doing all kind of out the box stuff. Had me just like music, whoa. So I just loved it from there. But then fast forward, divorce happened, real bad divorce, and like going through a lot of little teenage depression, trying to figure out how I'm gonna feel. And I started getting into poetry, man, just writing for real, just expressing, letting some stuff out. And I started falling in love with words from there. So all my favorite rappers, T.I., Lupe, Luda, whoever else, they was all, really lyrical, Jay-Z, all these people. And I was just like, damn, like that's cool as hell, man. Let me just try it out. So I'm freestyling with the homies, just having fun though, nothing really serious. That fast forward to, like I told you, getting into college, man. And I had a homie who was doing music pretty big by the name of Peter Z. He's also into acting and things like that. So, he was building a good little buzz, good platform. I came over to work with him. We linked up, had our thing. Fast forward, went on tour. Fuck this. I'm not liking where I'm headed, who I'm becoming. Went ghost. Came back out, hit up the people. And he always had like a unique signature voice to me, man. So I was like, I think you'd be pretty nice on the mic, bro. And he's like, nah, like I fuck with your music, bro, but I'm not trying to do this.
Right.
But I'm like,
That's what I thought of rap at that time. Except for if you know what I'm saying.
You in the studio with me, anybody, don't care. You could be whatever, bro. 89 years old, you might end up on my song if I see something
lay
going
this
on.
down real quick.
Yeah, man. So, just being around.
Yeah, my bad to cut you off, but just to complete the thought, I think seeing how talented bro was, like he said, like he fell in love with words, and I already had a lingo about myself, you know what I'm saying, coming from Atlanta. You know Atlanta got their own lingo. I had this one homeboy that literally creates lingo, like that nigga just be saying some crazy shit, and I like, you know what I'm saying, that kind of grew into me. I give everybody nicknames, kind of, you know what I'm saying, if I fuck with you, I'm gonna give you a nickname. And then in school, you know what I'm saying, I shifted from that, just kind of lingo based, to actually having to write papers. I was like, bro, like this is a lot of detail to actually get a good grade. Let me just say, not to just write a paper and just hand in some bullshit, but to like to actually write a good story. Like that really interests me. And then back to music, I saw how talented bro was, and I was like, hold on, can I do this? Like, you know what I'm saying? And being in the studio with somebody that's actually talented and has range, it's like, like you said, it inspires you to want to do that. And then to double down on the fact that I could express myself through those words. I think this is more of a recent thought, but like it became the easiest way to brand who I am as a person. You know what I'm saying? Like ain't nobody gonna come in here and tell me how to write no rhyme. Ain't nobody gonna tell me when to put out music. Me and him gonna discuss when it makes sense strategically, but nobody's gonna tell me when to put out music. So people think that they have to have a big corporation behind them. You can brand yourself and make money. You know what I mean? And that became the easiest way to express / brand myself as a person, and you know what I'm saying, to get out there socially.
Beautiful. So how would y'all, so you've been making music for about 2 years now, right? About five.
I mean,
okay.
Really like, my bad. Really like into the music, like making it for real, probably what, like three, 4. First year or two, I was like, I'm gonna just help you. Like
whenever 6 tape came out is when I probably would say.
That's probably 2020.
Yeah.
So 2 years, like really head into it.
You said over a decade.
As the reemergence, I'll say after going Ghost, man, that's been about 4 years since then. But yeah, before that, 10. I've definitely put my 10 in.
So how would you describe your sound now?
That's one of my favorite things. That's why I like to let people describe it. Simple word, I'll say, just to answer your question, I'll say versatile. I can really, it's like life. I try to reflect how I'm feeling, and I'm not always feeling one way. I try to sound how life is, So I'll sound all kind of, I may be up one day, I may be like, fuck you one day, I may be down one day.
Right.
All that gets reflected in my music and my sound.
Okay. Nice.
I'm a still, bro. Like I thought he had the perfect answer for that question. How would you describe your sound? But shit, we part of the same brand. We pushing the same thing. Mine, and a lot is, you know what I'm saying, because of him, is, I think, nostalgic. I'm gonna say that because
nostalgic?
I feel like
that's why you say
I
that.
stole his whole word. Like he came up with that shit, and like I feel like I have an old soul, but the younger music I listen to more. Not necessarily that it interests me like all that more. I like listening to old school stuff, maybe stuff from like the 2000s, but like I'm an old soul living in this new generation of music, and I think that's how my music comes out. I be saying stuff that like the younger generation wouldn't say. I mean, I'm a part of, you know what I'm saying, this generation. I don't even want to separate myself in that manner, but I be saying stuff that it's like, who would say that over this beat, or who would even put those words together? And I think they get some energy from old school type energy and also new school type energy.
Yeah, I designed a shirt. Go to EsoXP.com, EsoXP.com, shameless plug on that, to see the design. It describes it better than I can even like word or articulate, but nostalgia is like NEW nostalgia. And it's, we said, just new shit, futuristic shit, right? Combined with like the nostalgic feelings of childhood growing up.
Feels like somebody that is experienced on that type of new stuff, right? It's something could be new, but if you have experience coming into that same type of realm, then it creates something that's like a perfect balance.
So was that something that you feel like you kind of just fell into as you were, putting out music and trying different things, that you just felt like your sound sounded like this, or is this something that you intentionally were like, I want my music to sound like this? Not
for me. I'm actually still developing my sound, I think, but I think I just fell into it out of necessity and out of being, you know what I'm saying. He has great range, and like he really embodies that theme. So I had to keep myself up there to that standard if I'm gonna represent the business. So I think it was out of necessity, but I'm still kind of cultivating my sound.
Yeah, for real. I mean, it always starts with just what you came up listening to. But when I started getting into my own, man, like I said, I wanted to represent myself and express myself on a certain like wholeness, totality. I really didn't want to be boxed and narrow, man, because we're a lot more complex than that. So the sound really reflects that. So yeah, it was intentional where like, I like my music to be conversational. That's one thing I always hear, and I notice from just my favorite artists. Like when I would really lock in, I feel like the best songwriters, man, they sound like they just having a conversation with you, you know, or they saying something that you be like, damn, like,
It sits.
you know what I mean? Like it's really profound, but it's simple. I think it's a Bill Withers quote. It really, my pops told me way back when I first got into music, is like the best songwriting is simply profound, and so that's kind of where I always try to measure my shit at and go from there.
No, that's powerful stuff. Like a lot of times, you know, you'll have artists who can say a lot in a very thought-provoking way, but then sometimes a message is just as powerful when it's clear cut. You know what I mean? When it's kind of just like
Clarity, bro.
Exact.
It's more because who cares if they don't hear you, if they don't feel you.
Yeah, if they have to.
You could have said the secret to everything, but
Right.
if it's caught up in some hippity hoopla, like
Yeah.
I didn't catch it.
Yeah. And that's part of the reason. So it's like it's a little bit off topic, but sometimes it's how you deliver the message is way more important than what the message is, because a lot of times, so like me, I grew up in a environment where it was an aggressive tone most of the time. But
No bitch ass niggas.
Exactly. So I had to sift through the tone and really get what the fuck they're trying to tell me.
No, for
you know what
real.
I'm saying?
That's crazy you
So
said
it's
that.
like as I experienced life and went out into the world, I was able to really get the message that people were telling, even though if it wasn't in the best of tone or if it wasn't worded the right way. But I was like, I get what they're trying to say. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of times people who didn't come up in that environment or just are used to more of like I wouldn't say like a softer tone, but it's a little bit more direct or less aggressive. We'll say that.
Yeah.
It's if they get that aggressive tone, it's just they're gonna block off. They're not even gonna hear that. But it's like they was trying to give you game,
Right.
but
Yeah.
you just wasn't taking it
Yeah,
because
that's how
the
my
way they
people
said
is.
it.
I hear you loud and
For
clear.
real. Nah,
Yeah.
for real. My mom my family in general, they're blunt. Like
Yeah.
they tell you what's on their mind, whether it pertains to you or not. Like, this is what I'm talking
They
about.
gonna
This is
tell
what
you.
I-
They
this is what
gonna
I'm
tell you.
going
It's
through
like,
right now.
minding your own business, and you just kept like, oh damn, I didn't need to know that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. But yeah, so EsoXP, like where y'all trying to take your career? Like how far you want it to go? What do you envision it? I won't even say like 5-year plan, 10-year plan, whatever. But like when you say like you're satisfied or you feel like you've reached success.
We racing NASA, bro. We trying to, hit another galaxy for real. But I'm sure a lot of people say that, and you gotta, I think, aspire for as far as you can aspire and envision. But realistically, like right now, man, I think right now it's really important to establish the brand and make it where people are just familiar with what we represent, and then you can decide if it's for you or not. More power either way. But just getting that brand out there, working with platforms like yours, and partnering all through the city, man. There's a lot of talent you mentioned in the city. So right now we're in a place where it's like, let's connect, let's link, let's work with other talented individuals and see what we can do.
And with the I guess the what's the word, the mission statement, or with like the meaning behind your brand, like how do you represent that through your clothes? Like talk about it, like what you got on right now. Like
I'm gonna let you speak to the aesthetic.
This was a tape that Asante dropped last year, end of 2021. And the whole discussion behind it was like, what are we putting this tape out for? Not we, him. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm just helping here, but I'm just saying we is in terms of discussing it. And we wanted it to be about the art of rapping. You know what I mean? Like actually putting words together, not necessarily melody or flow, but like barring down some shit. And this shirt has the title across the hem. This is just a basic tag with the size, the website, and the coin on it, and it's a 1-of-1 piece. And on the back is a silhouette of an art piece with kind of that descriptor you would see on an actual art piece, name, location, origin, things like that.
Right.
And it was just a way to play on the exclusiveness of art in and of itself, and the exclusiveness of, you know what I'm saying, our talents and our range and what we can actually do. There was another question I think you had, but
I don't know. But just to add on to that, yeah, like, I mean, it's definitely, I think the silhouettes is fire. One thing we did with this design that I really fuck with just from a clothing perspective is, like, we really got with the crazy color combinations and pastels, as you'll see, you know, all kind of different things. Pastels going with vibrant vinyls, you know, is something. Yeah. So you can wear it as like a standalone piece, but then the front is so minimal. If I throw a jacket on, you know, I can put this as a combo piece too. So I wanted to make something that was like the sound versatile, but then still had a message, you know, the art and all that kind of thing to keep it on brand.
Literally keeping it on brand, playing with range. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can put on almost anything with this. And that was the other question. Where do we see the business in a little bit? It's tough to say where I want to take it because there's so many things that I'm interested in, that he's interested in, but I think I would feel successful once there should be this, like, it could probably just be one person, but like there's one person that comes to me and says, hey, yo, like, your music either changed my life or saved my life. I would obviously feel success in that. I don't know what's going to come before that. Maybe things come before that may be nice, but like, I feel like if I do that just by putting my thoughts onto a beat, you know what I'm saying, and onto a WAV file, like, I think I've served my purpose. Even if it's just one person, like, I've served my purpose in getting my thoughts out there rather than just keeping them to myself. So that's a tangible thing. There's a lot that goes into that, like, really, like, I can't say that. I can't say that enough. Like, the range is crazy. Like, bro is a director. You know what I'm saying? I took acting 1 in freshman year, but I ain't deep into that like that. But I think I could. You know what I'm saying? I could pull off a role. So like that's something kind of related, but left field too. Like, I don't know, man. Like I'm open to a lot of things. I could say that.
Okay. I like that. So, just wrapping up here, like, what's a message that you would share to the people? We've been dropping a lot of gems, I'd say, throughout this conversation, but what's a message that you would share to the people, anybody who's watching, whether they be like, you know, a young entrepreneur coming up, somebody who's trying to get into clothing, music, whatever, just a lesson that could be about anything that you feel like they should hear?
Don't be no bitch ass nigga. I'm gonna keep it short.
That's a fact.
Don't be no bitch ass nigga. Be patient and be disciplined. Those things alone will just take you farther than what you even wanted to do, to be real.
The message is simple. It's in the brand name. Everything we do, try to be a reminder of this. Don't claim to have all the answers at all, but one thing I know is it starts with you. Don't look elsewhere. Everything else will fall into place how it should, how it would. It starts with you. So focus on you. Simple as that.
Beautiful. Thank y'all so much for being here.
Appreciate you,
Thank
brother.
y'all for reaching out.
For real.
Glad we got to have this conversation. You know what I mean? Tell the people where they can find you, EsoXP, y'all individually, like, tell them where they can find you.
EsoXP, that's 5 letters. You can find me at 6Cheese. That's the number 6IX. And cheese, like you put on your chicken sandwiches, burgers, shit like that.
Yeah, man. If y'all want to do anything to show us love and support, EsoXP.com. Just visit the website. Meaning the world to me. Hopefully you find something you like. You can connect with us off the website. I'm Asante Farid, ASANTE FARID. You can find that, plug it in on Instagram, Twitter, whatever, but EsoXP.com. That's the brand.
And there you have it. This has been the first episode of more. Who knows? It's been your boy, King K. Rula. This has been King's Corner. Appreciate you guys for having us.
Appreciate you, brother.
Salute, man. King's Corner.
Appreciate y'all,
I like
too.
the name.
Appreciate
Yeah.
the production crew.
Big E's.
Yes, turn that.
Love that.
Right.